Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Taking Over. I am, of course, Ol'Ed and joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, the natural Astrid Pizarro. Astrid, this is going to be a fun one for you. For the first time, we're talking about a show where you were there live and in person.
Yay! My turn finally.
I'm saying, this is normally my room.
Yeah.
I get to go ahead and talk about wrestling that I was at live.
Yeah, it feels weird seeing it from the other point of view rather than the point of view that I was watching, so it's definitely something to get used to.
And by the way, point of view is still a Sunday show, even though we're talking about a point of view here. It's still a Sunday show, so don't worry, we're not changing. But no, of course, you can find all of the MLW stuff here very easily at MLW on everything. Major League Wrestling, been here for a while. This is the 8th Battle Riot. But before we get into the Battle Riot, Ashley, we do have to talk about one other thing that happened in the last week since we've been off the air. The Super Bowl happened, and we're not going to talk about the game because Lord knows I don't want to talk at all about that. But
I wonder why.
Shut up. Anyways, I do want to talk about the halftime show, Ashley. So go ahead. Talk to us about the Bad Bunny halftime show.
I'll put a disclaimer right now before I begin. I'm not particularly like a Bad Bunny fan. I started listening to his music recently just because I wanted to get familiar with the songs ahead of time for the show. So it's not somebody that I listened to for ages or anything like that. And I'm not a reggaeton fan, which is what his genre is for the most part. But I can tell you that listening to the music recently, I've enjoyed his most recent album because it's more about the culture of Puerto Rico and like bringing up our traditions and the issues within the island and things like that. And I like the way that he brings up the topics that he brings up. So I enjoy that album a lot better than the previous ones. And I figured he was going to sing most of the songs from that album because the most recent one to begin with. So why not get familiar with him ahead of time? I've heard bits and pieces because of TikTok. Obviously, that helps a lot. We hear like tidbits here and there, but I haven't heard the songs like entirely until like recently. And I'm glad I did because that way I enjoyed it a lot more because I was able to really listen to the lyrics ahead of time and pay attention to what he was saying before the show happened. And I'm not a football girly. A lot of people know that the only sport I really watch is wrestling. So I was only watching for the halftime show, to be honest. And at the same time, thinking about you watching the game at the so that's the other thing that was going through my mind. But watching the halftime show, it feels so surreal to see that representation of my culture on screen. Just thinking of like how such a small island is making such a big impact, whether it's positive or negative, because people are still talking about it even today. So it just made an impact whether we want it or not. So I enjoyed watching it. I love like not only the dancing to the music, but listening to the lyrics and seeing so many people just referencing later and processing what he was bringing up to the plate. And when people don't realize it, like thinking, you see the people in the boxers, the way he's walking at the beginning, see the a person selling coconuts at one end, the piraguas, which is the shaved ice, which is something very common in Puerto Rico. So many things that are so part of our culture is the best way I can describe it. So popular too. At one point, he's talking about with one of the songs about the issues with the power in the island because at this point, the island since I would say Maria, I believe it was, they had a lot of power outages to the point that they have to use like solar panels to be able to have power throughout the day as backup. So to be able to use his platform in those minutes that he has and that it take that time to not focus on himself but on other people as well. I was surprised seeing Lady Gaga there. I do love the fact that she was matching with the flag, when that flag is a different flag from the flag that the United States sees, I guess, or represents from Puerto Rico. So that's one thing that was really special as well. And Ricky Martin, because Ricky is one of the people that crossed over to put from the Spanish speaking market into the English market in the US like this. So overall, I still feel emotional about it. I'm still watching it every now and then, just thinking how it was really so well done. As I say, 10/10, no notes.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching it. It was, I didn't understand almost anything that was said. I got some of the references before
You would, yeah.
I got some of them. I understood the power issues. We've talked about that before. The
Yeah.
boxing I very clearly got.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the fact that he made it about more than himself. It wasn't, let's get Bad Bunny, to use the wrestling terms. It wasn't to get Bad Bunny over. It was to get over the island and the culture and the people. And I think bringing in Lady Gaga is a great way to do that, because she's absolutely somebody who can help bridge the culture gap. Plus, it's got to be a cool moment for him working with somebody to the level of a Lady Gaga as well. Like, she's not a small name in the music industry by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. It is the most watched Super Bowl halftime show by viewers ever. Shut up, SGG. Not putting those up there. Not even. I appreciate that you're done after one, which I greatly appreciate, because that's more than I in the Discord chat for the POV. Yes, honestly, Dominguez didn't help me one bit in that one. He was just going, and I was like, "Yep, yeah, no, I'm done. Not even going to try."
Oh.
Yeah, I've loved watching all of the reaction content from people being like people like our own Jose, who's talking about how he had, 3 generations of Puerto Ricans watching that moment and the the impact it had on him. Queen of the Ring talking about how she was crying during the whole performance because of its representation. And as we've said countless times on countless shows, how much representation matters when it comes to something like this. And not only this, but in everything. It matters. Bad Bunny is now the first ever artist to have an entire album in a foreign language to win a Grammy for Album of the Year. Like, that may be bigger than 135 million people watching you during the Super Bowl. It's winning that Grammy, because that's a big one. And so it's the ability for him to be so massive and still be so real and relatable. Everyone wants and needs to feel seen and represented. That's why we love professional wrestling, because everybody is represented for the most part in professional wrestling, for good or for bad. Trust me, there's a lot of bad representation on the show we're talking about tonight. That being said, Astrid, we should clarify that this is not an event that you paid to go to. This was indeed a media opportunity kind of thing with MLW, where you were given the tickets from MLW, which we greatly appreciate them, letting you attend the show and get to enjoy the show and letting us get to talk about the show. So again, we definitely want to go ahead and thank MLW for the opportunity. We're going to talk about a couple of dark matches because no. They're not paying off Hollywood Astrid. Trust me. I've seen the names. I've seen the notes. There's no paying off of the natural on this review. We will talk about the matches that were taped, either dark matches or fusion matches, because there are 7 of them. Because I was like, I had seen... So, for clarity, this happened about a week before the YouTube broadcast came out. Yeah. So Asher was sending us pictures and videos throughout the Discord chat throughout the show. So there are matches that I knew, and I was like, oh, I want to talk about this match, and I want to see this match, to find out that they weren't on the Battle Riot card, and the Battle Riot card is 2 matches. 2.
Mhm.
So to make this a full episode, we're going to talk about everything else that Astrid experienced along with it. Yeah, no, I'm not fucking waiting for Fusion. No. They've lost my viewership number. I'm not going back to watch Fusion. No. They had an opportunity to get me and they lost it. Sorry, Emma. So let's start with the opening match. Shotzi Blackheart taking on Priscilla Kelly. Astrid, I have no idea what happened here, so what you got?
I mean, I don't have notes either, just because I was more like taking videos and enjoying the matches from what I saw there. Overall, I this was a very fun match. This is one of the ones I hope they do put for Fusion on, because I like how the girls were going out about each other. They were really aggressive in most aspects too. I did like the fact to be able to see both of these ladies live, because I don't think I ever seen them live before, like in person in NXT before. So I was glad I was able to do something like this. Um, yeah, overall I enjoyed that one. I feel like they were doing great representation, and at the end, Shotzi wins this one, if I'm correct, and she was calling out the champion at the end, which I'm hoping that it's come almost like a carrying kind of situation for her, because I feel like she's at the moment somebody that's very popular and a name that is being brought up in the indies very often. So I'm hoping that that causes them to put her as the champion sooner or later.
Yes, and the current MLW featherweight women's champion is Shoko Nakajima. So that will be an interesting matchup for that. We then had another women's match. Scarlett Bordeaux getting back in the ring. Let's not get it started on Shotzi. Let's not and say we did. Scarlett Bordeaux taking on somebody who we've talked about on the show, I believe, before, Leah James. What you got, Astrid?
Yeah, this one was another one I hadn't seen any of them live in person either, but I was very curious about how Scarlett was, just because we know she doesn't have a lot of experience, but she's one of those people that is willing to learn and willing to put the work out there, but she's not often given the opportunity to do so. And I like the match. It just felt like I wanted Aaliyah to do a little bit more than what she did. I'm glad to see Scarlett growing the way she's growing. So I'm hoping that MLW just give her more opportunities to get that experience in the ring more often with people like Aaliyah, who do have more experience that she does and can help her out in the ring as well. So for me, that match made sense in that aspect of it, that we have as somebody with Aaliyah's experience there to be able to help Scarlett at the end. Scarlett does get the win at the end here too. I think the only time she had also at one point a little part with her gear that just came off as she was stepping on it, and I was like afraid for her, because I'm like, please don't step on it, and all of a sudden you slip and you miss whatever you're supposed to do at that moment. But I'm glad she did it. She was able to take that moment really quick and just kind of like yank it off and remove it out of the ring, so it helped out in the end for her. Um, I understand. It's like I wouldn't have put Scarlett to win particularly though, because of her experience. But at the same time, Aaliyah is probably somebody that it's not signed to MLW at the moment. She was just somebody that local, because I see her more often in Orlando. So it makes sense for Scarlett to get the win at the end. But again, like I said, it's like I like the fact that she's getting to have that experience. It's not a lot of places that are willing to give her that spot.
Yeah. We're just gonna talk about this match in the broadest of senses. Austin Aries defeated Trevor Lee.
Okay, so this is, I don't want to say tough, but it's just the fact that I'm not an Austin Aries fan. I used to like him until he started doing
Nobody
his
is.
stuff
Nobody is.
before. I was before when he was in TNA and like things like that, but not anymore. Um, so it just felt like he was kind of like slow at first for me, and then I feel like he kind of picked up from there. I did like watching Trevor Lee though, especially because I seen him as in NXT as Cameron Grimes. I'm glad I was able to see him more often here, and because we had him for this one, we also had him for the Battle Riot, just like Austin Aries too. But there's so many moments that I was just hoping for that moment. Oh yes, he's still being used. um,
Heavily being
yeah.
used.
Mm-hmm.
If
I was
he's
just
not in
hoping.
the ring, he's on commentary.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, I feel like there were so many moments that Trevor, I feel like, was so close to winning, and I was hoping that would pick Trevor to win. So that was the only downfall for me in this match. But I like how they went a little bit slow when they started picking him. I like the moments that they kind of do mock each other because Austin likes to go. You know how he does the pulse on the rope, on the top rope, and at one point Trevor Lee does it to him back as well. So they had a good back and forth. There was a lot of close calls during this match that really had me here. But I was just hoping that Trevor would win at the end. But I believe Austin did, if I remember correctly.
Austin Aries did indeed supposedly win this match based off of the footage that I'm using. Speaking of another match, we're just going to briefly talk about in the briefest of terms. The Good Brothers finally a decision we can agree with. The Good Brothers defeated Gallows, made up of Joe and Mark Coffey in this match.
Yeah, that was another one that I'm not particularly a fan of Gallus. I don't like, not even personally, but their style either isn't my type of style. So I feel like I never like really meshed with them in that aspect. Um, so I definitely would have picked the Good Brothers over them either way on this one. It just felt like they're getting that momentum towards the tag team championships, and that happened at that there. And I think we had Dijak and Bishop, aka Baron Corbin, on commentary for this one too. So it was interesting. They did. I don't remember they cut a promo, but I remember they had a microphone, and all of a sudden, Dijak and Bishop made it seem like they were about to leave, and they actually, when the Good Brothers turned around, they attacked them from behind. So I did like the setup for a future title match happening there, though.
Yes, we do have the tag team championships of the Skyscrapers, Bishop Dyer and Donovan Dijak. So yeah, their previous match was a no contest at the previous show, so there will obviously be a rematch coming. There will indeed. Probably, it didn't happen at the Fightland show in Chicago that I know of that happened on the 7th. Because I feel like we would have heard something about that. So I'm going to assume it's going to happen at probably Lucha Apocalypto in March. We then move on to one of the matches that Astrid says she's dying to have me see, which is Diego Hill taking on and defeating Adam Brooks.
So this one was interesting for me because I didn't have knowledge about either one of them going into this. I remember when I posted about it, Jamie from Pioneer Magazine, who's a friend of the channel, he messaged me. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna see Broski," and I'm like, "Sure, we'll see." Well, I'm getting familiar with everybody in the card, and Diego's very interesting for me, particularly because he came out and I like the crowd didn't know who he was. It seemed like because the crowd was very quiet at first, but as the match kept progressing, I feel like they kept cheering on more and more for him. And I thought, okay, the people are connecting with him now, so they're definitely going to cheer on a little bit more for him at the Battle Riot because that's definitely what we're going to see later. Yeah, like Bobby's saying, Diego's like flippy, but he's in Sao with his when he makes it look unique. Adam is more like that tough kind of guy. He reminded me a little bit of like, it's gonna sound funny, but it's like if Tyler Bate and Hammerstone had a child, and that's Adam Brooks because he looks kind of similar to both of them to me. So it was interesting watching Adam. He's a little bit more like kind of like the slower, kind of a more aggressive side of it. So it was very interesting to see both of these styles being combined here and going against each other when they're total opposites of each other. But I did like both of them. That's why I'm hoping that they're put this later on Fusion because I think that was an interesting mesh of styles with this match particularly. But it was an introduction for me for both of them, and I think I learned later on. I think Diego Hill, he's Hispanic or at least Puerto Rican, one of the two. I'm trying to remember. Um, so yeah, it was very interesting watching him wrestle for the first time. So that's why I was looking forward to watching him in the Battle Riot later because I knew he was a part of it.
And our next match is Carolina Cruz taking on Zamaya. And I just have to say, I didn't know who either of these two were, so I just started looking things up. And I'm sorry, but how have we never seen this person on any of our shows before? Because I need more of this in my life. I haven't seen her work. I've seen nothing but a couple of photos. This reminds me of Bull Nakano. I want more of this. Astrid, tell me about this match.
So I felt the same way as you did because I knew Carolina from before from the NXT stuff, so I was looking forward to watching her. But I hadn't heard of Samaya ever before. I loved her look and her theme song and everything. I feel like she looked so badass. My only disappointment in the match was like I did like Samaya, but all of a sudden the match once the match started, Samaya just took over the match, and I didn't see anything from Carolina at that point. So I feel like I didn't even see a Carolina match because she didn't give anything in the match. Samaya just took over and she won, which I was not expecting. Um, so that's why I was like, I want to see more from Samaya, but I was also disappointed that I didn't get to see more from Carolina because I was looking forward to that from the beginning, knowing that that's the person that I knew before the show started. So that's the only thing. But like you said, it's like the look and everything. And I was like, I love how she looks, the hair and everything. I was like, that was so cool. So that's another one that I'm hoping they put on just because I want you to get introduced to Samaya like I was too.
Yes, I will find that one. And of course, our last match and most likely the big match out of these tapings was indeed Alexander Hammerstone defeating Bishop Dyer.
Yes, this one. So I was very torn about this because I like Hammerstone, but then I'm not a fan of a champion losing the way having Bishop lose in this match, especially when he's a tag team champion and Hammerstone doesn't have a partner either. So that's another aspect. I think I don't remember correctly. Dijak was at ringside or at one point he came in during this match, but yeah, there was some sort of distraction when Dijak came in to like try to help out Bishop, and the Good Brothers attacked Dijak, so that caused Bishop to get distracted, which at the end it helped Hammerstone, and that was more of like that ending sequence. I like the match. I just wasn't a fan of particular like him losing the way he lost. I understand there's a distraction, so at least you're like, oh, he took advantage of it, or whatever it is. But still, you have your tag team champion losing to a singles competitor who it's not gonna go for the tag team championships anytime soon. I feel like it would have made more sense if like one of the Good Brothers was in the match and then he lost to one of them and going forward with the storyline there. But interesting to think of like how Hammerstone's going to get involved in this with after that pinfall being there. I'm not sure. That was the only part of it, but I liked it because it was a second week in a row. It's good to see Bishop Dyer for me. So chef's kiss.
Yeah. And now we move on to what is on the official YouTube broadcast of Battle Riot 8. We are introduced to this by Joe Dombrowski and Tom Lawler, which made me sad because I don't like having to listen to Tom Lawler. I don't.
Really?
So here's the thing. I think Tom Lawler is a fantastic wrestler. I really do. I think he's got charisma. I think he's got ability. I think he's got a fantastic character. I like a lot of the Tom Lawler things. I also like to hate Tom Lawler. He's a very hateable person, just kind of character-wise. No, Tom, apparently, I don't think Tom was in his jorts.
I don't think so.
I don't think he was in his jorts. But he's just kind of bland on commentary. He's just kind of there. Like, he's giving good insight throughout this card, but he didn't feel like a professional wrestler a lot of the times during this. His shorts are a bit unnecessary.
The one thing I will point out, because especially because Mel's here right now, because I was able to watch it now with the commentary, I can tell you a little bit more. I did like the fact that they bring up Noah on so many aspects during the show. They don't stay quiet about it. So every time I hear Noah this and Noah that, like especially during the Battle Riot when people are coming out, so I'll mention the ones I remember here and there. Every time I heard it, I was like, oh, I think about Mel because I hear Noah here, Noah over there. It's like they were Noah recently, so that was pretty cool that they're able to mention it in commentary too.
Yeah, I have to watch this week's Monday Magic episode from Noah because we had both Dean Malenko's daughter on this week's episode, as well as Izzy James was on this week's episode as well.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to watching that. I will be my tomorrow night's viewing because there's obviously no other professional wrestling that I need to watch tomorrow. So it'll be fine to just watch that. Too much. So it's not too much knowledge, not enough personality. It's just Tom is a character. Like, he's a legit character. He's funny. He's interesting. He's great. And throughout this commentary, it just felt off. Like, it didn't feel like Tom Lawler. It felt like Tom Lawler was a commentator. And I really don't like that about it. Yes, and we love commentary when they go ahead and give nods to other companies, especially Pro Wrestling Noah and other places like that. It's great to find people and go, this is where this person is if you want to watch more of them. Because watching the indies, we can both say we really like it when they tell us, oh, this person's on loan from or coming from X, Y, and Z. So at least we know what region we're looking to find more of these people. Tom Lawler was following the commentary and being no, that's the funny thing. He wasn't doing that. He wasn't over the top. He wasn't being the Tom Lawler that I hoped and wanted when I saw that Tom Lawler was on commentary. And again, one of my favorite things about Tom Lawler is that I have this fantastic trading card from Donovan, Dijak, and his whatnot, where Donovan Dijak has him in a chinlock from the MLW trading card series. By the way, for those that don't know, Bobby has a matching version of this. That was his Christmas gift. No. Hold on. Burger King crown.
It's in there somewhere. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's somewhere over there. I don't know. I have to clean the room. It's a bit of a pigsty right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this show. Obviously, we have Rich Palladino on commentary. I'm sorry, not on commentary, ring announcing for MLW, because this is his other gig as well as doing all the independent stuff. He is indeed a fantastic ring announcer and now has the full-time job of being the MLW ring announcer, which is great. We like Rich. We love Rich. Rich is fantastic. We didn't get to see a lot of Rich here because, well, there's not a lot to do. He has a 40-man Battle Riot where, thankfully, for 39 of them, he gave us names of who people are, which is great. Very helpful for writing notes, taking notes, finding out who people are. Not so great with the one guy that we had to figure out who it was because they were generic goon number 5. But, we'll get there. Our first match is Kushida versus Templario for the MLW Middleweight Championship. Now, before we get to the match, we have a little bit of Ol'Ed history bullshit that I have to deal with MLW. So, I don't know. Templario comes out and he's basically like an old school knight. He's a Mexican knight. He's got like the old like shield crest on his mask. It's a cool look. He pulls a big sword from a stone. He's basically like one of King Arthur's knights. It's the sword and the stone. It's all that. The problem is they then on commentary, Joe Dombrowski tries to link this King Arthur-esque time frame knight with the Knights Templar that his name comes from, being Templario. And that's a problem for me because the Knights of the Round Table were not Templar Knights. These are two very different type of knights. This is a problem for me, and I then hated Templario the entire time because fuck you if you're going to screw with my history. So he instantly became the heel. Not that he wasn't going to be the heel wrestling Kushida anyways, because it's Kushida, and I love Kushida.
Yep.
All right, now that Ol'Ed's rant about history is over, Astrid, what did you think of this 12 and a half, almost 13-minute match where Kushida becomes the new MLW middleweight champion?
That was fun for me because I like the fact because people are familiar with Kushida, he automatically became the person everybody was cheering for. But I like the fact that as the match keeps happening and that Templario starts getting cheered a little bit more because people are seeing what he does and they're enjoying his performance. So it was pretty fun to see that transition happen during the match in itself. I did like a lot of the submissions they have because even though they're both very quick people, so they do a lot of like that lucha libre type of style almost. I like the fact that they have their submissions every now and then. And you see Kushida doing a submission to him, and Templario does one a little bit later. So they do have a good mix of what they're doing here. And I love how they mix both styles within the match here. I was back and forth about who I thought was going to win, but I like the fact that they have Kushida win the match. And I like the angle after. This is the moment that I started messaging Bobby more about the history of Contra because I didn't know. I just knew that Jacob was a part of it before. And after that, I didn't have any like knowledge about the group in itself. And I like the fact that he's like, oh, this is what happened. And he's like, Contra is basically like, I think that basically almost feels like it's non-existent at this point because nobody's there. But then it looks like they're kind of rebuilding in a way with the angles here at the show tonight. And it happened not only in this match but in the Battle Riot as well. So it was nice to see that progression happening there, and I could get some insight from Bobby during this.
Contra is the overarching like villain organization of the whole MLW thing. Like there's MLW and then there's whatever Contra's doing, and it's always kind of intermingled. And it's fun because there have been some fantastic names that have been linked. Yeah, I was gonna say I already put those up. There's been some fantastic. I love this match. I thought this was great. Templario is, as Mel says, really, really good. He's getting better. I love the wrestling he did. Like I said, I just hated the kind of, trying to screw with my history here and tell me something I know that isn't true and trying to make me believe that it is. Kushida is just Kushida. Like this guy's been wrestling for what feels like 20 years. I know it's not been, but it feels like we've been talking about Kushida forever, and we've been watching Kushida matches forever. He's one of the. If you're making a list of some of the greatest luchador-style professional wrestlers in the world, and no, Kushida is not really a luchador because I don't know if you consider the Japanese-style high-flying wrestlers luchadors, but he fits that style.
Yeah.
He's up there on that Mount Rushmore with the Rey Mysterios and the Psychosises and all of those fantastic names of the early, late 90s and mid 90s. Like he's up there with those names. He's so fucking good at everything he does. And the idea that he was setting up for the hoverboard lock and then to win with the Back to the Future was just great. It's a fun little misdirect. It's a fun little thing. And then, like you said, Akira Kwan coming out, looking like he's going to attack Kushida to get a shot at the middleweight championship, to do the swerve and to beat up on Templario, and have Kushida beat up on Templario and join the villain group of Contra, I thought was a really cool idea. Heel Kushida isn't something I've seen or heard a lot about, so I'm slightly interested to see what you do with Kushida as a heel. Because there are some people that just don't work as a heel. Rey Mysterio, for one of them. Rey Mysterio has tried once in his entire career on televised professional wrestling to be a heel. It didn't go well. It led with him being unmasked and being part of a group called the Filthy Animals. Didn't go well. Late WCW. So terrible it's good. But no, I thought this was a fantastic match. I like the idea of having Kushida take this belt places. Yes, Janai Kai was indeed part of Contra. I think everything. There's been a lot of members of Contra. I'm pulling up a list in a minute. But yeah, no. I think that there's a lot to be done with Kushida coming out of this. And I think there's a lot of fun with taking the MLW championship back to New Japan. With Kushida working with New Japan and things like that, MLW is very happy to allow their championships to kind of go where they need to go and do what they need to do. So I'm very excited to see what happens here and what goes on from this. Do you have any lasting talks about this, Miss Astrid?
Yeah, just like you, I feel like I'm very interested to see how Kushida does as a heel. Because like I said, it's just like the fact that the crowd loved him so much from the beginning because they're so familiar with him. And then the turn happening here, it was very interesting to watch. It's like I had never seen Kushida as a heel, so it definitely got my interest after that.
Yeah. Speaking more on Contra as we talk about it, former members of Contra include Jacob Fatu, Joseph Samael, and again, Joseph Samael may not be a name that some of us are familiar with, but if you've watched Ring Respect Radio and you've heard Bobby glowingly talk about Jacob Fatu, you know that Jacob Fatu went very few places on the independent wrestling scene without Joseph Samael. So Davari was also a part of this group, now in Ring of Honor as part of the Mark Sterling group, if I remember correctly. Minoru Suzuki was a part of Contra. Janai Kai is a part of Contra, was a part of Contra. And of course, now Mads Krügger is indeed a former member of Contra. Both Jacob Fatu and Mads Krügger were the leaders of Contra. It's obviously now under the leadership and guise of Akira Kwan. And if you want to know more about Akira Kwan, you have Bobby has an interview with Akira Kwan on the Local Establishment YouTube channel that you can go ahead and check out. Bring Respect Radio did a fantastic interview with Akira Kwan. 2 interviews. I lied. It's not just one. It's 2. There you go. Current members of this faction include Kushida now. And they brought back Babathunder. Babathunder is a WWE name.
Yes.
And of course, Simon Gotch. And you'll recognize Simon Gotch from many shoot interviews talking about Enzo Amore. Oh, also he worked in NXT as part of the Vaudevillains. But you'll most know him from the shoot interviews yelling and screaming about how terrible Enzo Amore is. By the way, he's not wrong. Enzo Amore is awful. All right, Astrid. 40-man Battle Riot. Are you ready for this? All right. I am going to go ahead and at first I'm going to give the entry order of every competitor in this match. This is going to take a minute, folks. Please bear with me. Killer Kross, Matt Riddle, Big Trouble Ben Bishop, Doc Gallows, Cha-Cha Charlie, Joe Coffey, Diego Hill, Mads Krügger, Matthew Justice, Paul Walter Hauser Douchebag, Josh Bishop, Paul London, Anthony Greene, Don Gato Tequila, Stallion Rogers, Austin Aries, Alan Angels, no longer with the Dark Order, Adam Brooks, Cody Fluffman, Kushida, Trevor Lee, Akira Kwan, Wolfgang, Babathunder, Simon Gotch, the Sentai Death Squad, Jesus Rodriguez, Karl Anderson, Sidney Akeem, Alex Hammerstone, Ricky Martinez, Ariel Dominguez, Festus, Donovan Dijak, Richard Dyer, LJ Cleary, Madman Fulton, Onyx Caballero, Mr. Thomas, Mark Coffey.
We can breathe them.
Good God, that's a long list. By the way, MLW needs to understand something the WWE figured out. 40-man Royal Rumbles are too long. There are too many people. Don't do it. WWE did one 40-man Royal Rumble, one 50-man Battle Royal Rumble, and that was only because it was in the undisclosed area in that place with the greatest Royal Rumble, and they needed to pay people lots and lots of money. No. 40 is not awesome when MLW does it. This match went on far too long with far too many names who didn't bother being in that ring. Not LJ Cleary. He was fantastic. We'll talk more about him. No, Bobby. I disagree with you entirely. 40 was way too many people. When you have 2 versions of Doc Gallows, that's 2 versions too many.
Well, let's go from the beginning, though.
All right, let's start at the beginning.
So storytelling-wise, I think it was very ironic how they started it, having Kross and Riddle, because I like how they mentioned in the commentary, it's like, oh, they're friends, but they had some kind of disagreements lately, so we don't know how this is gonna go about for the match. So it's an interesting start to begin with. And then we get Ben Bishop. The moment that he came out, I like the fact that my brother doesn't know a lot of indie people. I'm obviously getting to know them recently. And it's just funny. He's like, he knows them from the online stuff. Yeah, he knows all the online stuff from him. So when he saw him, he's like, oh, I know who that is. I was like, oh, of course you know who that is now. But I was like, I hated the fact that he wasn't there for long, because I wanted to see more from him. This is the first time I actually get to see him in person. But I'm glad that at least I saw him once. I just wanted him to be there a little bit longer than what he was for. And unfortunately, he had to be eliminated by Riddle, which I wasn't a fan about. Another thing, Riddle's gear. The colors reminded me of Honey Dukes from Harry Potter, and I hated the fact that I can recall that, because it looked like he was wearing almost like a bikini at that point. I was like, this is not something I would like to see while somebody's wrestling. This is too much for me, unfortunately. I know you'll finally be able to see it now after I send it to you guys.
Yeah, Riddle was wearing far too little for a man accused of so many things.
Yeah, not great.
Ben Bishop out here is just fantastic. I love Ben Bishop. I love how they put over his social media presence. I assume that there's going to be more Ben Bishop in MLW, even if it's just spot appearances, something like this. I think it's great because they put over Tribal Keith. They put over his social media presence. They put over the fact that he came out there and helped save Kross to give Kross that little bit of an out, which I think is really good because it's going to continue that storytelling that we're going to hear far too long in this match. Out comes the before. Oh, sorry.
No, I wanted to clarify too, because I didn't know all the rules, and I like the fact that they gave him to us before the match even started. Obviously, it's almost like a Royal Rumble, but you can also get eliminated by pinfall, submission. Weapons are allowed, and so obviously there's that no DQ type of thing if you look at it that way. One of the things I didn't like, and I understand why, because they had a referee in the ring with everybody, and at one point there's too many people in the ring, and I feel like the referee doesn't even know where to go himself. But I know he has to be there because of any pinfalls that might happen inside the ring. But I could have done without the referee being there because I feel like he was probably fearing for his life, left and right, seeing all these bodies everywhere, and he just like, I don't know where to go because there's no pinfall happening. Um, so I say the rules thing because at one point Riddle has a submission on Ben and Ben taps out and that's how he gets eliminated. So I like the fact that it's not just over the top row like it usually is. People can bring in weapons as well. So that I think that it was interesting touches from like a usual kind of like Royal Rumble type of match.
Battle Riot is a fun concept. The way they do this, it's taken a bit from the Brit Rest. I talked about Brit Rest when I was talking to Stuart this weekend. It gives me that same feel because at least a lot of the Rumble type matches that I've seen in British wrestling have this whole, you can still pin people, you can still submit people to go ahead and do it. And it gives you more of it's not just people just kind of brawling on the ropes and trying to throw people over. Granted, there's only like 3 things that happen that aren't over the top rope eliminations. But I like the idea that there's something more to it. So you can have a submission guy and a small guy who can just get submissions on people and eliminate people that way. That's a really fun and interesting way, and it lets you tell fun and interesting different stories. So where you have a douchebag like Matt Riddle, who's a problematic person, you can let him have 4 eliminations by doing things other than just knocking the guy over the top rope, because he's not the kind of guy that easily gets 4, 5, 6 eliminations that way, because he's big, but he's not as big as guys that are going to be in this match. And they load the beginning of this match with big, huge guys. A Ben Bishop who's 7 feet tall, a Killer Kross who isn't as big as people think he is, but he feels big, he looks big, he gives that impression that he's a big, massive guy. Speaking of big, massive guys, Doc Gallows, the big, massive POS that he is, comes out next. He'll be here for a little bit. We get Cha-Cha Charlie, who is apparently a fan favorite of the local independent scene.
Yeah. This was another one that I hadn't seen him wrestle, but I've seen him in a lot of the local posters and graphics on my social media for local shows. And when I had seen in the email they sent us that he was going to be there, I thought this one's going to be one of those that, because in Orlando, a lot of people are going to cheer for him, and the people watching are going to be so confused, but people are cheering so much for him. But I like the fact that I was able to watch him for the first time in real life like this too, after seeing him in so many graphics and all over my social media. So I like the fact that the crowd actually loves him so much, and they actually do everything like that he does. And he has a great connection with the crowd that I feel like a lot of people don't have. So that was great to actually witness.
Yeah, I thought he was a lot of fun. He didn't do a whole lot of interesting things, but we got a little bit of a glimpse of him. And I'd be happy to cover a Cha-Cha Charlie match in the future. People I don't want to cover more of. Joe Coffey was here. Great. Diego Hill came out after Joe Coffey. He was fantastic. I liked him. There's something to this Diego Hill. Like, I know you said you were talking about how you got to see a full match of him and really got to see a bit more of him. This is the only thing I've gotten to see of him, and I like it. I like what I saw. I think he's got some skill. I think he's got some talent. I'm very excited to try to find if there's some other stuff that he does someplace else that we can get to cover, or even just to look at, just to see what it is, because I think that there's a lot to something like that. And then at number 8, we get Mads Krügger finally comes out, and now the title is officially on the line, as we knew it was going to be. But at this point now, it is officially there. The title has come out to the ringside area, and Mads Krügger enters the ring. He had, I believe, the second most eliminations in this match with 5, which makes perfect sense. And again, Krule, as we've called him on a lot of the other shows. It's funny. Bobby used to talk about this Mads Krügger guy all the time. And I'm like, he can't compete with this guy Krule that we have on the independent scene up here in New England. It's funny because I never actually watched a picture or a video of anything that they were talking about when Bobby and Papa Smokes would do Fusion and talk about Krügger. I didn't realize they were the same person. So it was funny when I mentioned to Bobby, oh, look, this guy, and I showed him the picture. And he's like, yeah, we've been talking about him for years. Because they added the Krule. And the funny thing is you don't have the connection. It's because of the fact that they added the Krule recently as he started to go on the independent run, from what I understand. It used to just be Mads Krügger. And the Krule, I think, is a new thing, I believe. I never realized they were the same until about, I want to say, what, a year ago, I think it was, Bobby, that you clued me in on this one. You kayfabed me. You gave me the rub there and told me. But yeah, no, I had no idea that Mads Krügger and Krule from the independent wrestling scene was indeed the same person. Out came Matthew Justice, who was a name that I am familiar with the MLW scene. I've seen him in matches before. He's fine. He does the again. Matthew Justice is a name that I could have done without. He didn't do a whole lot in the match. Didn't really need him. He took the big spot being thrown through the table by Josh Bishop. We'll get to him in a bit. But there was really nothing fantastic about him in this match. He was just kind of there. Paul Walter Hauser. I hate this guy. Like
I knew he would be a favorite when I saw him.
Yeah. So, like, I get that he's supposedly this great actor. I don't find him great there either in the acting world. And I get it. Like, they're like, oh, he's here to, not put himself over and not grow his fan base. And I'm like, well, don't worry, MLW. Coming to work for you really isn't going to grow his fan base any. He's also just kind of relatively good in the ring. Like, he's not ultra great. Like, he's not a celebrity wrestler because I don't consider him a celebrity. He's also not a great wrestler, but I think he's willing to do everything and anything he needs to do, and I like that about him. But there was like a moment here where I was watching him wrestle Joe Coffey. Like, when he came in, the one big spot they gave him was him and Joe Coffey went back and forth for a while, and it was so wrestling camp basic that I was like, you've been doing this for far too long to still be wrestling camp basic, Mr. Hauser. Like, you've got to be better than this. Like, and like I said, I'm sure he's a wonderful person. I'm sure working with him is fantastic. I'm sure he's a wonderful guy. And honestly, compared to a lot of people that we're going to talk about on this show, I'd much rather sit here and talk about Paul Walter Hauser than half the people in this match, because half the people in this match either didn't do anything or are so bad at being people that I don't want to talk about them.
Dang it. It hasn't had haterade in quite a while, people. This is the new one.
It's also the fact that I wasn't brought to this event, so I don't have to talk about people that I don't want to talk about. Bobby, you don't know. You could be talking about 5 different people in this match, because there's 5 people in this match that I'm just like, you're all problematic and I don't want to talk about you. We've already talked about one of them more than I want to talk about. We've already talked about the other one. He's in one already, and he'll be back again later.
Okay, so let's continue with Bishop.
Josh Bishop comes out. I was happy to see him. I like him. He's the only reason why I want to watch Fourth Rope. He's legitimately like, I don't care about watching Zilla Fatu. I sure as hell don't want to watch Enzo Amore, but like, I'd be interested in watching a bit more Fourth Rope to learn more about Josh Bishop. Because this guy, he feels a bit generic, but he also has this look. And he has this something special about him. When he walks in the room and he walks into that ring, your eyes gravitate to him. And you want to see more. And setting up the two tables when he comes out up on the outside, I like that. I thought he was good. What did you think about Bishop here? In this
Yeah,
match?
like you said, it's like the look is something that really caught my attention with him. So I was interested to see more from him. I like the fact, like you said, he sets up the two tables, he gets inside the ring. Not too long after, the best way I can describe it, he just launches, because no other word for it, just launches Matthew Justice to the table. And obviously that eliminates Matthew from the match. But just the visual of it happening the way it was, I was like, holy crap, that was interesting. And I feel like that got a reaction out of people the way it happened, especially so early on in the match. So I'm glad that he was the person to do it to begin with.
Yeah. We then get, I'm going to say, has to be the oldest person in this match. Which is saying something, considering they almost had Sasha Kojima in this match. Mr. Breadman himself was almost in this match. Thankfully, he got taken out by Contra. But Paul London, in his old age, in that way too tight bodysuit that he was wrestling in with his gray hair. Oh, Paul.
You know, okay, to give everybody a visual, you know what the Grinch looks like when he's at Universal standing up with the belly like that? That's what Paul London looked like. And I hated the fact that he looked like he just came out of bed and just went to work to MLW, because that onesie looked like a pajama onesie. And once I saw that, I went, "Oh no, we need a different year, honey. This isn't working for me." And I'm sure I'm not the only one. And I hate to say that out loud. Oh my goodness. But I
Hold
just
on. I'm trying to
try to find a visual.
Well, he's got he's got cool gear, and then he's got the gear he wore. Like, this is not the gear he wore. This is what I like. Like, this is the Paul London gear that I like. Like, this gear is cool. I like this gear.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the gear he was wearing. So give me a moment. I'm going to pull up the MLW stream. So Astrid, you can
Yeah, they look like pajamas. It's the only thing I don't like. It just looks like he just rolled out of bed and just here, I'm here. Let me know when it's my turn. Um, so that's the only part that I was like, and I like how in commentary, at least here, they talk about him and Paul Washer and their connection and their storyline here and how they go about each other. So that was interesting to like listen to and get some more storytelling there. And after this one, we get Anthony Greene. So I was happy to see Anthony Greene. Chef's kiss. I'm glad he was in this match. He didn't do a whole lot either. I was hoping he'd do a lot more. Um, the one he was a part of is that I think it was a Coffey had a pineapple and he literally just kind of like slid it over in a way like a bowling ball to Anthony Greene, so it landed on his what, and that was the spot that he had to begin in the match. I don't think he was in there for too long. And after that, we had Don Gato coming in with the tequila. So I figured it was going to be a little bit different because I had seen him from across the room walking to like another area. So I was like, if he's in this match, where is he really going? So I like how he had like a different type of entrance with the two girls and promoting the tequila, but he took way too long to get to the ring. So by the time he got there, I'm like, the next person's gonna come in at this point because it just took that long to get there.
Yes, we have to talk more about Don Gato, because this man, he has all the gravitas. He has all the, I don't know if he has a lick of wrestling talent worth a damn. But my God, did this man have all the charisma? Like, he walked out with Rachel Leigh and what was her name? Madison. Madison Monroe, I believe you said her name was.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm looking it up. Hold on. You sent me the name. Madison Maxwell.
Okay.
And much like Madison in the MCU, the I and the Y aren't where you think they're gonna be. But no, I thought this was a cool entrance. It felt very ADR, but also like a cool version of it. He has that big, huge, long like tequila ball, like that he can, like, the girls can all take the drink and nobody's like touching it. Like, it's so cool. Like, he's got the drinks on the thing and they all drink the shot, but they're not touching each other. Like, this is a cool idea. And he comes to the ring and he does the wrestle bit. Like, I don't know. Maybe he can wrestle. We didn't see a lot of him here. He was just carrying around the... By the way, the fact that there's a belt on the other side of this big, huge, long wooden board that he has tequila shots. Chef's kiss. Love this. I love this guy. He was one of my favorites. Anthony Greene, I agree. Anthony Greene is fantastic. Love Anthony Greene. But yeah, he did get a bit jobbed out in this match, which was a bit unfortunate because I do love some AG. Like, I heard his music play and I'm like, I know this music. I don't have to wait for you guys to do anything. I heard the music and knew who was coming out. And I got really excited. And then he was in the match and I got really sad.
Yeah.
Hold on. Here we go. We've got Paul. I had to scrub the feed to try to get to a spot. Oh, Paul London. Like, I'm sorry, Mr. London. What were you thinking, sir? Like, I'm a big guy. I wouldn't wear this knowing I have all of that to have to deal with. Like, and again, this is unfortunate because I liked Paul London 15 years ago.
Yeah.
When he was in his prime. And it doesn't help that he's the reason why I have to watch Paul Walter Hauser wrestle. Because he trained Paul Walter Hauser. So he's even another level down on my shit list. But, you know, it is what it is. He's still good in the ring. Like, he can still do the things he needs. Which is kind of surprising considering he's a bigger, older lad. I'm happy to see he can keep doing the things he did. After Don Gatto, we had Stallion Rogers. And Stallion Rogers, I had to look this up during it because I was certain I knew him before. And I was right. On 205 Live and on a bit on NXT, he does look like a reject from a Valentine's Day superhero thing. Stallion Rogers is indeed Kurt Stallion from 205 Live. And I was like, oh, I liked you until I found out who you were friends with.
Yeah, I was gonna say I knew more about him. It's kind of similar to Charlie earlier with Cha Cha Charlie, that I had seen his face in a lot of graphics, and unfortunately, in every graphic that I saw, it was him and the other one that I'm not a fan of either. So, I forgot what they're called. Stallion, something Stallions is what they call each other.
Stallion Rogers is his name, and they were the Bro Stallions or the Stallion.
Yeah,
Bros
that's what I thought. I know Bro and Stallions is one or the other one. I forgot which one in one order it goes to. So when I saw him, I'm like, I was kind of glad I saw him the first time, and then I went, never mind, Riddle's your partner, so you can just keep going. That's fine.
And it's sad because I like him. Like, he's got a good look. I think he's got he's good in the ring. He can do the thing. Like, I like him. But he's friends with Riddle, and, you know, is what it is. Thankfully, not too long later, he was eliminated with Don Gatto, and we didn't have to worry about him, but I also lost Don Gatto. Speaking of problematic people that I don't want to talk about, Austin Aries came out dressed like Rambo. We then had Alan Angels, and this was nice. This was a nice reprieve from a bunch of people I didn't want to talk about. It's always great to see Alan Angels out here in the ring.
I like during this one in commentary say, "Oh, too bad he didn't come out as number 5," and I just went, "Don't remind me."
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah. But it's nice to see him continuing to get gigs on the outside. Hopefully, continue, because I did like that they made a comment. He doesn't do well with the billionaires, and I'm just like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
We then got Adam Brooks to come out here. But again, Alan Angels and Adam Brooks, other than having a couple cool spots, they don't do a whole hell of a lot, and they might as well have not been there. Like, I want to see more Adam Brooks, like, in his matches as a singles competitor, but it was kind of a waste here because he didn't do anything and got eliminated by Austin Aries. Out comes somebody who I'm familiar with because I've seen interviews with this person. I think he's a bunch of fun. Astrid, tell me your thoughts of seeing the male cheerleader extraordinaire, Cody Fluffman, for the first time.
You can keep him if you want. It's okay.
Oh, come on. The plus-size Fluffman. He's great. Sure. I could have done without him here. I love that commentary was into him. I think that's an important thing to do with a guy like Fluffman, because he is a bit of a comedy guy. Like, he's a guy who's like pretending to be a bit of a cheerleader, and he's upwards of 3-ish pounds, I'd say. I think he's above the 3 mark. He's a bigger dude. But you gotta love the fact that he's willing to just go out there and do the thing. And I love him, and I love the charisma, and I love the smile. And every time I watch him work, he gives me that good feeling. Like, I see him and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I don't want to root for you, but I'm also not rooting against you. And in the ring with all these people, like, there's a lot of people here that I'm rooting against, so it's fine to have him out here. But again, he gets one elimination and then is eliminated by Trevor Lee. Out comes Kushida, and this begins the Contra arc. Because Kushida is the first member of Contra to come out, and then for the next, like, 6 people, other than Trevor Lee, who comes out after Kushida, everybody is Contra. And there's a reason for that. Because they take out both Sasuke Kojima and Davey Boy Smith Jr., who were supposed to enter. I believe they were number 24 and number 25. I believe were Kojima and Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Yeah, because Simon Gotch is 25 and 26 looks a question mark, so that should have been it too.
Yeah, then that's the Sentai Death Squad. So we had then Kushida, Quan, Babathunder, Simon Gotch, and Sentai Death Squad, who is just generic goon number 5. For all of you old NXT enjoyers, you'll like that reference. And this is basically these 5 guys eliminate Mads Krügger. And he basically eliminates all of them too. I love this portion of the Battle Riot because I love the idea that they don't care if they win the Battle Riot as long as Krule loses.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that we set this up with attacking Davey Boy, with attacking Templario earlier, with attacking Kojima earlier. We're now building a resistance force to this group as well. Because now we can have Gotch, Thunder, Quan, and Kushida taking on Krule, Templario, Kojima, and Smith. Like, there's an 8-man tag that's now been built with a very quick and easy build in this Battle Riot to give you months worth of content. Because you can do the singles matches and the tag matches, and everybody's got an issue. And all the good guys don't want to work together because they don't like each other, and they can't trust Krule because they've all been victimized by Krule for the foreseeable future. So it's a great way. Yes, they will absolutely do that, Bobby. They will use this to build. I don't know if they can last War Chambers in what, November? Can they bring this all the way to November? When is War Chamber? Hold on. I'm going to look that up.
I was gonna say in this part, I was excited because I was thinking, oh, I want to see Gojima. So I'm ready to take videos for Mel, and then I see the video of like Contra, and I was like, never mind, he's out. I feel so bad.
Oh, they did it. They did it in. They did it in. So War Chamber happens whenever MLW feels like it. Apparently, the first War Chamber in 2019 happened in September. Then the War Chamber in 2021 happened in November. And then in 2020, they didn't have it at all in 2022. And in 2023, it happened in April. In 2024, it happened in March. Last year, it happened in May. So there's no rhyme or reason to when it happens, but it seems to be in the early part of the year. So yes, it will indeed be a War Chamber match. Absolutely, Bobby. You are correct.
I was saying that my favorite part about this with the Contra angle is the visual here, because we get, like you said, the guy that they didn't give us a name to him. He comes in, he's a little bit bigger. He takes out Krule the way he does.
A little bit. The dude is bigger than Cody.
Yeah. The funny part was that from my side, because I'm the opposite side of the hard cam, all I could see was his butt crack, and I'm like, I didn't come to see this. This is the only thing. I was like, even before he did, I think he did like a senton to him or something like that, because he was on the other side. But even before he did it, his pants were already down halfway through his butt before he did it. And I'm like, oh no, there goes his pants when this happens too. But they take him up. But my favorite part is the visual that some more people come in. They're masked as well, so they're more affiliated with Contra. We don't know who they are. They come in and they also help out to put Krule in a body bag, and they really close out the body bag. The visual of him getting taken out that way, literally by everybody in Contra, the way they did backstage with the body bag in itself that Babathunder brought in. I was like, that visual, that was incredible to watch, and definitely got a different kind of reaction during the match, especially now because at this point we're a little bit more than halfway through the match. So it's like you're in that moment that you're like, you don't want people to get kind of like too tired either. So it's like it kind of woke up people in the sense of it where the length of the match was at right there and then.
Yeah, and at this point now we understand we're getting a new world champion. We don't have to wait to the very end to be like, will we, won't we? At this point now we know there will be a new world champion being crowned at the end of this. And this is where everything kind of picks up from the competitors' aspect, because now they know they've all got an opportunity now. They're all sharing in that opportunity to become the new world champion. Then we get Jesus Rodriguez, who was Ricardo Rodriguez in WWE, who his post ADR days have not been kind to him. I miss him on Spanish commentary in WWE, to be honest with you. That's the place where I miss him the most. Because I don't care to watch him wrestle, because he's not really good at it. He wasn't good at it in NXT when we used to watch him in the early days of NXT. He wasn't good at it in 205 Live when they forced him to do it there. He's not good at it when he does it now. He's a name. And trust me, there's going to be a whole bunch of names coming out. I know he only really does it for Battle Riot. The problem is they were like, he just got back from Mexico where he did a tour of Mexico. And I'm like, why would you subjugate the poor Mexican people to this crap? Just. But don't worry, we've got bigger crap that we're going to subjugate people to in just a little bit. Out comes one of my favorite professional wrestlers for this show. Karl Machine Gun Anderson finally comes out, and I'm very excited. God, I love Karl Anderson. He's so good. I mean, he didn't get anything to do in this, but, you know, I love seeing Karl Anderson. He's great. Sidney Akeem comes out. Reginald. Scripps, however you want to call him.
I was about to say, please don't say Scripps.
Scripps. Under the orange mask of Scripps. Out comes Sidney Akeem. God, I love watching him wrestle. He's so good. Otherwise, he's usually with the... I was surprised we got no Cesar Duran, no Selena De La Renta in this. I was very sad. So, like, if I'm gonna put myself in the garbage of having to watch MLW, I at least want to see Stallion on my screen for reasons.
Sure.
Plus, I love Cesar Duran for his work in Lucha Underground. Like, he was really good in Lucha Underground. Like, and like, I know we'll see him for Lucha Apocalypto in a few weeks, and that's fine. But it felt like a waste to watch an MLW show and not see Cesar Duran and Selena Doranta. Yes, Bobby, it's absolutely for that reason and none other. Like, no, and I adore Selena. She's the aspect of the joke I'm making about Selena De La Renta is the joke, and it's the reason why most people watch it. But she's really good at what she does with Cesar Duran. Like, the only things I know about MLW recently are the things involving them because I love the goddamn soap opera that they're a part of. Like, the whole soap opera thing from Lucha Underground that is in MLW because of the two of them is one of the best things that MLW does. And it's why I love Cesar Duran, and it's why I love Selena De La Renta, because that telenovela bullshit that they do is chef's kiss. She got knocked up by one of his people's off, supposedly on screen. She got knocked up by one of his wrestlers. Like, it's just so much fun to watch them on screen. It's so great. We get Alexander Hammerstone coming in at number 30 to start rounding out the final 10 competitors of the Battle Riot. Again, we are still 10 people too many here. But it's great to see Hammerstone in here getting 6 eliminations for Alexander Hammerstone, former world champion. Not much you can say about Hammerstone. Hammerstone did the Hammerstone stuff. He was great. Mm-hmm. He looked fantastic. We love Hammerstone. I mean, do you have anything more on Alexander Hammerstone to talk about here?
No.
We got Ricky Martinez to come out next. A name I'm not familiar with. A name that I probably could have done without. Like,
it's just a local guy too. That's the other reason why. Mm-hmm.
It's like, you can make it 30 people. Like, I get wanting to use local talent to help give them a shot, to give them a payday. And this match was only an hour and 7 minutes, which is fun considering the fact that they did a 40-man Battle Riot in the same time that WWE basically does a 30-man Royal Rumble. But I have more fun watching a 30-man Royal Rumble in WWE than I have watching this Battle Riot. Because it's just so many useless people in the ring. No, Bobby, that's not a compliment. The fact that they do 40 people at the same time it takes WWE to do 30 is not a compliment. I have watched WWE in the last 20 years. It's just the last 6 months I haven't watched any of their content. We then get Ariel Dominguez, who again was fine. Local competitor, small name, didn't need to be there. It was fun.
And the next one didn't either.
But he was already there. But nowhere on my bingo card did I have the return.
No.
Look, Bobby. I love enhancement talent. Enhancement talent is fantastic. Our local enhancement talent are sensational, and we love our local enhancement talent. The Ol'Ed talent in all of these shows is great. However, if you did away with all the Ol'Ed talent in this card, we could have had a 30-man Battle Riot that would have been a lot better, and it would have been a lot shorter, and more things could have happened that were big and interesting. If all we'd done is cut all the bullshit guys that didn't need to be there. Like, here's the thing. We didn't need Babathunder, the Sentai Death Squad, to be competitors in this match because there are no disqualifications. So we could have just had Kushida and Kwan and Gotch and then had everybody else come in and eliminate Krule, and it all would have been the same. Nothing would have changed. They didn't need to be actual competitors. We didn't need to eliminate people like Kojima and Smith. We could have had them in the match. Like, we could have eliminated these other guys who were just local talent who didn't need to be here other than get a $10 payday because it's MLW, and you guarantee the payday is not more than $10.
It's like I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, I like having the local talent there too, because there's other people that will get bigger reactions being where they are. Because having a Chacha Charlie coming out in a different state wouldn't have been the same if he came out. And I'm glad that he did what he did, because a lot of people had that reaction with him because they actually know about him being in the local scene. And it's people like Ricky didn't get such a great he was like so, but Ariel Dominguez was another one that had a big reaction as well, because he's another local guy too. And to go a little bit further, AJ Cleary was another one too that when he came out, and I was like, oh, Mr. Lara Valkyria, yes. So I was very happy to see him.
Yeah, but I don't consider LJ Cleary to be just a random guy. Like, he's not local enhanced. Like, I'm talking about the enhancement talent. Like, at the end of this, I'll go ahead and give you 10 cuts you could have made to make this match better. Just don't worry. I'll help out MLW and give you 10 cuts that you could have made on this match to make this match better.
Anyway, let's keep going with the next one. So you keep
Festus came out. Festus came out and did about a 10-minute gimmick that I could have done without. My God, why do we have Festus in 2026? Yes, we'll get to Mr. Birdman in a minute. MLW will be in bed, but MLW is already in bed, and plus they're not watching. I guarantee you he's not watching. I mean, normally I guarantee you he watches anything anybody talks about him because nobody talks about him, but I don't think he's watching. Yeah, I could have done without Festus. The only reason why I liked having Festus here was to be able to have the next two guys pick on him the entire time, which is Donovan Dijak and Bishop Dyer. Because I love seeing the mean girls of MLW, Bishop Dyer and Donovan Dijak, because they are, by the way, they are the mean girls. Like, they are so good at being the Regina George and Gretchen Wieners of this group. I love it. And by the way, I've now made it so that Ashley can never see them in any other light, which is the point of that. Which is the point of that. I do love the Skyscrapers. They are such talented wrestlers. They are such fantastic people. And they're just great here. Like, the poking of Festus and like the bouncing of his boob and the poking him in the face. And then they eliminate Karl Anderson. And Karl gets outside. He's like, screw it. And he just grabs the bell and rings it to bring Festus to life. Like, I didn't need Festus, but at least here they made it feel like something. They gave all the people in the ring being like, no, as the crowd chanting, ring the bell. And by the way, how the fuck do the MLW fans know ring the bell for Festus? Festus is a character from 20 years, feels like 20 years ago. It's only really more like 10. But my God, how did so many people know?
Yes, I was to point that out. Yeah. I was about to say, like, when the moment that he came out, we already started chanting ring the bell, and we kept going with it. And then you can see Rich Palladino, who's near the bell, he keeps looking back. He's like, I can't do anything because that means the match is over, and the match is not over yet. And like you said, Anderson gets eliminated, so we keep chanting it, and then he keeps like looking at him from the corner because he knows that he's not on on yet. And he keeps seeing him like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? And seeing that, it just made me laugh because you know the timing of what they're doing. And he goes, F it, whatever. And he just goes and rings the bell. And just to see that happening, the timing and the crowd just getting that reaction, like that moment was so fun to watch.
Yeah, it's a great moment. And like I said, I would have kept Festus. Like, I think you could, personally, I would have cut anything Doc Gallows involved, period. But like at the same time, like the Festus one makes sense. Like, they do something with it. There's a payoff to this that makes it interesting television. And you know what? There's room for comedy in this. Like this Battle Riot, there's room for a little bit of comedy. And this was some fun comedy, having Gallows do Festus. I'm not sure how they got away with it, considering it's a WWE gimmick. Now, granted, WWE might not want to remember that, might not want to keep it. So maybe that's probably how they do it. But, you know, it is what it is. Obviously, like I said, then out comes Bishop Dyer and Donovan Dijak. And then, as you mentioned earlier, out came LJ Cleary at number 36. Mr. Liar of Valkyria himself, Mr. Birdman. It was so great to see him in the ring. He is fantastic. Yes, MLW will indeed go toe-to-toe with WWE. And then bitch, whine, and moan in the courts to get money when WWE steals all of their good talent. Because that's how they afforded to keep so many of their talents for so many years. Yes, but they got money. Yes, Bobby. They got money because WWE's lawyers were like, here, we'll pay you to go the fuck away because we'll just take these talents in a year and a half when their contracts are up again, when you run out of the money that we just gave you. Man, we're never going to do anything MLW related ever again. So I hope you had fun with one. I hope you had fun with the one time MLW let you come there.
Dude, hater it is up at 100 today. That's what it is.
I've had the opportunity to talk about so much good independent wrestling that I haven't had a good haterade show in a long time.
Yeah.
LJ is a decent looking guy. I'll agree with you. Millie. LJ is a decent looking guy. He didn't get a ton of time, but it was nice to see him in here. It was nice to get an idea of what he can do. And I liked how they put him over on commentary. They talk about how he looks like a high flyer, but he's not really a high flyer, which is something I didn't know. I didn't know that he was a ground game guy and he's more of a mat wrestler. That's something interesting and new that I didn't know. So kudos for Joe Dombrowski to go ahead. There's your Japanese reference.
Yep.
I don't know what the Japanese reference was. I missed it.
If I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, but this is one of the moments that they mentioned Noah.
LJ
as well.
LJ was recently in Noah. He's done work there.
Yeah, I think that's what Millie means, if I'm correct.
Oh, okay.
Millie.
They mentioned it also when they were talking about Gotch had been, I believe, Gotch had been working for. I believe they mentioned it with Gotch, and I know they mentioned it with earlier. I forget who it was. Out came Madman Fulton, my favorite member of the Sanity. Maybe remember Sanity, and maybe small smile on my face. But again, Madman Fulton was great to be here, but he didn't do nothing. He didn't fucking do nothing. Oh, okay. Good looking guys. Okay.
I figured that was it. Yeah.
There's a faction. I will need to look this up after the show. Remind me of that, Ash.
And then the next one.
Onyx Caballero. Oh yes. Wish.com. I was like, who the fuck was Onyx Caballero? Oh yes, Wish.com Roman Reigns. Oh, Wish.com Roman Reigns.
This is one of my favorite parts of the whole show because the moment that he comes out, everybody keeps chanting tribal chief, tribe, and something else to it. And it was just so funny. I was like, how? This crowd had it like already planned out of what they wanted to say to him the moment he came out. And they putting out the ones when every time he did something in the ring. So when the moment that he came out, and then when I saw this again, I was like, this crowd, it just made me laugh so much.
Yeah, no, this guy is indeed something to behold. He is indeed.
But but they bill him as Onyx the One. That's what they call him at some point.
And by the way, I just looked up his social media because I wanted to find a picture so I could show people. He's wearing the OTC merch.
Yeah, Onyx the One, see?
You know, when you've got a gimmick, just go with it, my man. I mean, good-looking guys had Jack Lee, Jack Morris, Anthony Greene, LJ Cleary, and Tadasuke, and Yohei. Okay, I know Yohei.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know Anthony Greene, I know LJ Cleary, and I know Yohei. Those are the only names for that entire list that I have. Speaking of behemoths, Madman Fulton is huge. Yeah, I would have liked Madman Fulton to do anything in this match. And I mean anything. Out came one of our favorites, Mr. Thomas. friend of the channel. Bobby and Papa Smokes have had him on before. Go ahead and check out episodes of the Video Bros. I don't know if it's on the Our Local Sunshine. I don't think it is. I think the interviews with Mrs. Thomas are probably on the Video Bros network. Bobby will correct me in about 40 seconds when the delay is there. But yeah, Mr. Thomas is a friend of the channel. We enjoy Mr. Thomas's work, and I love Mr. Thomas. He was great here at number 39. It would have been greater at 40, but then we had Mark Coffey come out for reasons unbeknownst to me. We get down to our final 5, which was, if I remember correctly, it was Bishop Dyer, it was Donovan Dijak, it was, for some godforsaken reason, he was number 6. Austin Aries, Hammerstone, and then it was Riddle and Kross. That was your final 6. Hammerstone threw out Austin Aries, and then Kross eliminated both Dijak and Dyer as they were teaming up on him, and then Riddle and Hammerstone were trying to eliminate each other. Kross comes over, bloodied, beaten, and goes ahead and eliminates them both to win the match and become the brand new MLW champion. And I couldn't have been happier to have seen that happen. Good for you, Mr. Kross. He is sensational. Good for him. And the crowd cheered, and it was fantastic. Here he is with Scarlett, battered, beaten, bloodied, and with that beautiful MLW World Heavyweight Championship. By the way, the only thing MLW gets right on a constant basis is the look of these championship belts. I love this squared off, design focused championship belt with a globe in the middle. It's clean, it's lovely, I adore it. But Astrid, something we thought was going to be off the air that turned out to be on the air happened next. Do you want to talk about Kross's promo and what he said during this promo?
Yeah, like how he talked about his mom going through cancer treatment, and I believe he said he wasn't sure if she was going to be there. I don't remember if he said that was the first time she saw him like wrestle live.
First time she's ever seen him wrestle live.
Yeah, and he's like, I like how he just gave the championship to her in the end. I just said, "This is for you, Mama Kross," and then we all started chanting, "Mama Kross."
It made me laugh when I heard the clip because it made me think of us when I talk about Mama Fries, and to hear him talk about Mama Kross. Sensational. Congratulations to her for beating cancer. Congratulations to finally seeing him. And I loved the tongue-in-cheek thing where he's like, and I'm glad I won. Like, it's the first time she's ever seen me wrestle live. I'm glad I won. No, this was a match. There were a lot of really good storylines in this, but there was also a lot of wait for it moments throughout this. And by the way, my list of 10 guys that you could take off this match and make it better. Get rid of Mark Coffey. Sorry, Astrid. Get rid of Onyx the One.
I don't care.
Get rid of Madman Fulton. Sorry, Mel. Sorry, Millie, but get rid of Fulton. You could done without him. Get rid of. I'll give you Ariel Dominguez, but we'll take out Ricky Martinez.
Okay.
We'll also take out Jesus Rodriguez.
Okay. That's fine.
We're leaving in the numbers for both Babathunder and for Sentai Death Squad because we're going to replace them with Kojima and Smith.
Okay.
So I've removed 3, right? I've removed 3 so far?
I think so.
Coffey, Onyx the One, Fulton, and Ricky Martinez. That's 4. Jesus Rodriguez is 5. Yeah, Jesus Rodriguez is 5. We remove Wolfgang. That's 6. If you're seeing a pattern here, don't worry. We're going to continue that pattern. We can remove Cody Fluffman. That's 8. We can remove Austin Aries. That's 9. We can remove
The other Coffey.
Joe Coffey, that's 10. And if you really, really, really want to get into it, we can also remove Matt Riddle. We can also remove Paul Walter-Hauser. We can remove Paul London. Like I'm saying, we can remove at least a good 10 of these people and have lost nothing from this match. If we remove the 10 people I talked about, we remove nothing from this match. Zero. I don't think there's a single elimination amongst them all. Like, that's the funny thing. I don't think if I remove all 10 of them, I don't think there's a single elimination in all of them.
I think Coffey, one of the Coffeys eliminated somebody, but I can't remember who.
Hold on, let me pull up the Wikipedia again.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like one of them did something.
I don't think so.
No? I don't see it here. But I might have missed it too. But
I'm sorry.
I feel like
there's one elimination. Joe Coffey eliminated Anthony Greene.
I was going to say, I knew it was one of the Coffeys. I just didn't recall which one.
Right. But so think about that. I just removed 10 people from this match, and I removed one single elimination. And by the way, you can have him eliminated by somebody else in that match.
Yeah, but I will keep like people like the Ariel Dominguez and the Cha-Cha Charlies, because at least you get one of those like local people being there and they got a reaction out of the crowd. I feel like Ricky was so I saw him like when it came to that one, LJ got a reaction as one other people have seen him a little bit before too. Onyx had a reaction, but it's because he looks like Roman, not because people know him. It was just because of the lookalike situation. So those were the ones for me that I feel like out of the more like local guys that I feel like really stood out for me here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I can recall. I will leave obviously the Ellen Angels, for example, and the Anthony Greenes. You need people like that people know, so that way when they come up, people get to cheer for him and give a reaction out of it too. I will also keep people like Diego Hill, again, like a younger name that it's nice to see. And like you said, we had seen him a little bit earlier in the night, so at this point people got a little bit familiar with him, so he got a better reaction when he came out during this.
Yeah, but like I said, I removed 10 people. I removed a single elimination, and I did. And then the funny thing is, all of the names that you just mentioned, I left all of them in. Like you can leave in a Cha-Cha Charlie, you can leave in an Ariel Dominguez, and you can still. And again, yes, I removed four or five names that MLW would never remove because they're bringing in the Coffeys because they're a name. We don't like them, but they're a name, and they're bringing in star power. You know, they're never removing Jesus Rodriguez because, like Bobby says, he's a fixture in this match. They're not removing Austin Aries because for some reason they like him. I don't know why, but, you know, they do. So, but like I said, I think you could easily remove those 10 names, make this 30-man match, and still keep in all of the names you mentioned without any issue. I hate that they put this up as a YouTube thing with 2 matches on. Because here's the thing. We didn't look at this before we announced it because it hadn't aired before we announced that we were going to do this. Had I known it was 2 matches, I would have skipped it. I would have left it for Bobby and Papa Smokes to talk about with you, because here's a fun story backstage. 2 shows this week planned on covering the exact same MLW show. Astrid was going to be on both of them because Papa Smokes and Bobby were going to have Astrid as a guest. But we didn't coordinate this.
We sound like a lot of people. We didn't coordinate this. Sounds like a lot of people.
Why is this all falling at my feet? I announced this first, just so we're clear. Like, I announced that we were covering this first.
Exactly.
So it's not my fault.
You announced it. That's why I said there's no we here. Is it you?
This is our show on our network. This is a collective whole. Thank you.
Anyway,
this is I had fun with the Kushida match. I didn't have a ton of fun with the Battle Riot. Battle Riots are hit or miss. Royal Rumbles are hit or miss. It also doesn't help that everybody and their mother's done a Rumble, and we've watched way too many of them in the past month. We watched 2 for Dreamwave and Uprising in December. We watched Limitlesses. I've watched another on a different show that we haven't covered. And now we watched Battle Riot. This had more problematic people in it than any of them that we've covered. And collectively, all of them had less problematic people in it than this one had. Which tells you a lot about what you need to know about MLW and their roster. Communication is really hard with so many ways to do. It really is. There's so many things. And Bobby's always here, so I just assume that Bobby knows what we're covering because we talk about it on a weekly basis on the show. That being said, we don't know what we're covering next week. Because we are covering Girl Fight Wrestling coming up as soon as it's available to us. That is on our list to cover. I think Astrid and I have agreed to cover the ETU show coming up this weekend as well, because it's featuring people that Astrid wants to see. So I've been pushing this show for 2 weeks now because Santana was supposed to face Alex Price on this show. Unfortunately, 2 companies have decided to not let that happen. I'll let you guess which 2 companies that aren't letting that match happen anymore. So now we're getting Donovan Dijak taking on Alex Price, and we're getting Santana taking on Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki. So at that point, I'm sold to want to cover this card. But I know that that's not quite enough to get Astrid to cover a show. So I just so happened to see last night that there was more going on that I could get to help Astrid cover this show. And what was that more? Well, give me a second to go to my Twitter so that I can tell you, because I forget exactly what the match was. Ah, yes. It is Lily Pescarita taking on Harleen Lopez. I found that they're having a women's match. That's 2 people that Astrid wants to talk about. And yay, I get the match. And yes, Santana versus Murder Grandpa for the ETU championship is on this card. So that's another match, that show we're covering. So we're covering both of those shows at some point in the near future. Depending when they're available on the networks and whether or not I can record them when I need to, we will have them on a given week. Later on this weekend, I will go ahead and post on Our Local Establishment what show we're covering. But trust me, there will be a show next week. We'll be back to our normal independent wrestling with a much happier Ed who won't have as much haterade because he's not having to watch so many problematic people just because he wanted to talk about a show that Astrid got to be at live. We want to thank MLW, now that they're going to thank us. We want to thank MLW for allowing Astrid to go to this show, and hopefully that they won't tarnish her reputation in their company with all of my evil thoughts about what they are and who they have employed by them.
Too late for that. No I'm kidding.
Oh, it's way too fucking late for that. Astrid, tell the good people where they can find you.
Oh my god. Oh, jeez. Well, this weekend, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Celebrate your friendships all around. But yeah, you can find me. My Twitter is Astrid Pizarro. My Instagram and Threads Astrid Pizarro 20. And if you're here, you're most likely on my YouTube channel. So hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell to be notified. Make sure you see high points, whether it's on my channel or it's on the Our Local Establishment channel. You have to wait at least 3 days or so since from today to at least use it in our stream. You can use it on Respect Radio, on Noah Unleashed. So use your high points. You get to have them, I think, 3 times a week, if I'm not mistaken. So use them.
Yes, Millie is very excited. She's going to be she has her own Valentine's Day gift. And I've told her that she makes sure to talk to Matt Raywald and put in a good word for us that we want to talk to Matt at his earliest convenience for an interview, because I think both of us would be more than happy to interview Matt Raywald if given the opportunity. Of course, you can find me at all the normal places that I don't care about down here. That's fine, whatever. But if you're going to follow us, please just follow our local establishment, all the places here. Ol'Ed Podcasts on Instagram, Threads, X, all the fine places. OLE Podcasts. You can find us on YouTube and Twitch at our local establishment. Remember that we are monetized now. First level of monetization. We are a YouTube partner on YouTube. So if you want to go ahead and send in a super chat to make me say dumb and silly shit, you can do that on YouTube. We're going ahead and paying us. Any comment over $2 or more on a super chat will allow you to type in a message. A $1 super chat has none. And again, that's just if you want to help us, support us, to go ahead and support Ashton with the Canva, Bobby Munson with the StreamYard. There's all kinds of things that go into doing all of these shows, and we would greatly appreciate it. We've had a fantastic time tonight. At least I have. I do miss ranting on a weekly basis, so it was fun to do this. Thank you to everybody here. I want to meet Matt so bad. I hope you get to meet Matt Rearwald. I really hope you do. Hello, Louise. Thank you very much, and I hope you guys have a fantastic Valentine's Day. But for myself, for the Natural Astrid Pizarro, we will see you next Tuesday night. Thank you for all joining us. Goodbye. I am in misery.